This situation escalates quickly, and what starts as a simple act of recording on a public sidewalk turns into a tense standoff between a citizen and multiple law enforcement officers. At the core of this encounter is a fundamental question. What are your rights when you're standing in a public space with a camera? The auditor here is clearly exercising what many believe to be First Amendment protections, filming publicly accessible areas, yet almost immediately faces resistance.
It's just free pressures out here doing a little filming, that's all.
I'm sorry?
Free pressures out here doing a little filming, that's all. So yeah, that's all it is. They don't issue first passes. I have a valid notice, yes, I just don't have a moment. I'll leave all my personal stuff in the car.
Do you have a car here?
It's not.
How you doing, ma'am?
Hey, what's up?
Not much, ma'am.
They're going to film. Oh, are you?
Yes, ma'am, that's all. Nothing
Okay.
major. Doing a little filming.
What kind of filming?
Filming on these cars here. Well, we wanted only the service cars, but I see there's a mix of personal vehicles as well.
Yeah.
But we're just doing just service cars, that's all. And
Reason.
just release information to the public, that's all.
Okay. Anything you want to know, you can come in the front and ask us.
Oh, yes, ma'am, I understand.
Yeah.
We're going to start out here.
You understand this is a secure facility?
Yes, ma'am.
starting-
But we're not going
That's why
anywhere.
we're out here,
Yeah.
asking you what you're doing.
That's fine, yeah, that's fine. That's fine, yeah. We don't have any intentions of going anywhere we're not allowed to, ma'am. We're just out here
Yeah.
sitting.
Here we see the first point of tension forming. The officer attempts to control what the auditor is filming, even specifying a preference: only the service cars. That immediately raises a critical legal and constitutional question. Can law enforcement dictate what a person records in a public space? The auditor pushes back, and rightfully so, because once you're on a public sidewalk, you generally have the right to observe and record anything visible from that vantage point. The officer's approach here is important to analyze. Instead of acknowledging the legality of public filming, the interaction quickly shifts toward control, telling the individual to move and restricting access.
And film what we can see, and then we'll be on out. And then if you have any questions about any of these cars out here,
Yeah.
I will come to the front. I don't want you to think we're out here causing any problems. That's all.
Yeah. You can film from right out here, just along here.
I just didn't want to be in the roadway.
Out.
That's why I stepped in
Yeah.
anywhere.
You can
I-
stand right up here.
over next to the fence.
Yeah.
Not around the fence.
We're open book. Sir, did you film him on that? No, but obviously he didn't. Sir, you can film all you'd like. Just film right out here outside of their area.
Okay, well.
Yes, ma'am. I have one
Thank
problem with that, if you don't mind.
I don't mind. Ask me anything.
This is
Yes,
public
sir.
property all the way up into the gate where you have the restricted access sign. So even though you may consider this a restricted area, it's not. This is public easement. This is public property. I'm able to
and
do so.
I'm telling you, absolutely. You can stand
You
right
said
here.
from here.
Yeah.
I can go all the way up into the fence. That's public area. I don't want to be rude or disrespectful.
Notice how quickly the tone escalates from simple observation to direct confrontation. The auditor asks a critical question: am I on public property? That's not just a rhetorical question, it's a legal anchor, because if the answer is yes, then the rules change significantly. Instead of clearly addressing the legality, the officer responds with control-based instructions: move out of the way. This creates tension because it shifts the interaction from rights-based dialogue to authority-based commands. The auditor's refusal to comply is rooted in asserting constitutional protections, while the officer frames it as obstruction.
But
Everything's good, officers?
I'm just telling you from what I know here that I'm allowed to go all the way up to the fence. I can't go inside because it's secure. So
And you can't go past this point. That's what.
past what point?
Yeah.
Point.
The point of the gate entry.
Of course, I can't get
Yeah.
past because it's secure. I can't get past it.
I just didn't want to be too close to the road because this is an active roadway. That's why I stepped inside. That's all.
So why are you needing to film the cars?
What's your name, sir?
I'm sorry?
What's your name?
My name is Louis Roberts.
And you're a firefighter?
Well, I'm actually with Madison County Emergency Management, and I'm also sworn with the Sheriff's Office.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, again, just doing a little filming, that's all.
Yeah.
And we were here, but this is an active roadway, so we stepped
Okay.
in some because we didn't want to be close to the road. And we had no, and based on.
Well, you understand where we're coming from. Someone coming around our facility and filming, as far as security issues, that's where we're coming from. That's
But
the reason we're wanting to know.
I don't mean to be rude or disrespectful, but the definition of security is self-containment. That's what this fence is.
This is where emotions begin to surface on both sides. The officer's question, "Who the hell are you?" signals frustration and possibly a breakdown in professional composure. On the other hand, the auditor's refusal to follow commands reflects a strong stance on independence and rights. At this point, communication is no longer constructive, it's adversarial. Each side is now defending a position. The officer is asserting authority, while the auditor is asserting constitutional freedom. This kind of exchange often leads to escalation because neither party is willing to yield.
For
See, we don't know what your intentions are.
It doesn't
you guys
matter
could be
bec-
coming up to the fence and doing all kinds of things to the facility.
again, I don't.
We're not saying anything about that. We're just trying to figure out exactly what.
But you're using that as a pre-notion to say, "Hey, I've got to make contact with this person because they're doing something I don't know what they're doing."
Exactly. That's called suspicious activity, and
right.
as police, we have to
You do
investigate that suspicious
I
activity.
mean, you don't have to. You're choosing to. Is being suspicious a misdemeanor or a felony?
Sorry?
Is being suspicious a misdemeanor or
Being
a felony?
suspicious is not a crime.
Okay.
You're not committing a crime. We're just trying to figure out exactly what you're doing.
I told her first before she came out here and made contact with us again. So she already knew what my reason for being here was. And I don't have to provide you with it. Are you law enforcement? Are you law enforcement? Are you a sworn peace officer? Okay, so you can't lawfully request my ID.
I can, though. Can I see your ID?
No, sir, you can't.
I actually can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. I am a...
This portion transitions into broader commentary, and it highlights a recurring theme in many First Amendment audit scenarios. The script points out how quickly lawful behavior, like filming, can be misinterpreted as suspicious or even obstructive. This is a crucial insight: perception versus legality. Just because something appears unusual doesn't automatically make it unlawful. Yet, in many cases like this, that distinction gets blurred. The narrative here emphasizes how citizens exercising their rights can suddenly find themselves under scrutiny, questioned, or even threatened with removal.
That doesn't matter. I have not committed a crime. You don't suspect me of committing a crime?
I suspect you of suspicious activity.
Okay, can you articulate the crime that you suspect me of committing?
No, sir,
Suspicion is not a reason to request an ID.
It's called a Terry stop.
Yes, a Terry stop only constitutes you asking questions and a pat down if you suspect me of carrying a weapon.
Okay.
So you don't have reasons to ask for an ID, and I'm not going to give you one. She doesn't have reason to ask for an ID, especially that she's not a peace officer. I'm not going to give her one. We are allowed to maintain this public space here that belongs to the public property of the county, and I can go all the way up to that fence if I choose to, because that's where your restricted area starts at, where the fence is. Same thing with inside. I can walk inside of the building anywhere I want to, as long as it's public. Anything that's restricted, I can't go past it. That's your job, to maintain security and those restricted areas to keep people from going there. So again, I'm within every right that I have to, and I'm going to go up to this fence and I'm going to record and I'm going to continue on my story. And that's just the way it is. I don't mean to be rude or curt, but you know, I'm not going to let someone tell me what I can and I can't do.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
This moment is interesting because the officer attempts to reframe the interaction as assistance rather than enforcement. "Did you need some help?" is often used as a softer entry point into questioning someone's presence. However, the auditor interprets this as unnecessary engagement, responding that they didn't request assistance. This highlights a key tension. When does checking in become unnecessary interference? It's a subtle but important dynamic. On one hand, officers may claim they are ensuring safety. On the other hand, repeated questioning without legal grounds can feel like harassment or pressure.
I'm waiting for the officer. You can't make any policies.
Please move out front where you're allowed to record.
Could you give me the information that shows that this is a restricted area?
If you don't go back out front, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
And I'm going to have to nicely refuse. I just want to speak to the police officer. So there's no problem here. I'm the nicest guy on earth. But you can't trample on our rights, you know? Could you please call the officer?
I'm getting him right now.
Thank you, ma'am. I just want to see the paper that says that this is restricted. I go to DMVs
We have
nationwide.
signs posted. You're more than welcome to.
You can put any sign.
You're more than welcome to.
Did you remember last time we were here? You guys went viral. Hundreds of thousands of people saw what you guys did. And you guys still don't learn. Then Charlie Kirk just died for freedom of speech. And here you guys are trying to Kirk me. Hashtag don't Kirk me. We have over 120 million combined views on the internet. This is the wrong camera to misbehave with. I will tell you that.
Good morning. Would you please
So-
escort him? I'm asking.
So it's a policy. It's not, as long as I don't interfere with the business, she can't trample on the First Amendment.
Right this way, sir.
Please don't touch
I'm
me.
not going to touch you, but please walk out.
At this point, the conversation becomes more intense and less structured. You can hear frustration building, especially as both sides continue to challenge each other's authority and reasoning. The auditor repeatedly asks, "What law is being broken?" A direct and legally significant question. This question is important because in law enforcement, actions typically require a legal basis, such as reasonable suspicion or probable cause. However, the responses given here seem more focused on general concern rather than a specific legal violation.
Order.
Or else what?
Please, let's go outside.
I just want to know.
Because now you're interrupting the...
I'm not. I'm peacefully recording.
Yes, you are peacefully recording, but you said you have to...
I'm not interfering with anything, sir. Escort him out for what reason? I'm not breaking the law, sir.
You don't want me to touch you, I'm going to ask you to walk this way with
But
me.
I need you to answer. Or am I going to arrest me if I don't? Because you can't violate my rights, brother. You know this. You know this. You're supposed to protect my rights. So
Yes, sir.
this is what we do. We go around the whole country. Please
You're not
don't
allowed
touch
to film
me.
inside here.
Escort him out and trespass him if he refuses.
Okay.
You're going to be a tyrant, really, sir?
Yes, sir. If I
Oh,
have to be,
really?
I will.
He's
But
going to. Oh,
you're
if you
being
have,
trespassed.
you're touching me. Don't touch
Yes, sir,
me.
I am.
Don't touch me.
I'm escorting you.
Don't touch me. You don't have to touch me. You don't have to touch me.
Yes, sir. Keep
No, you
going.
don't. You don't have to touch me. You don't have to
Keep
touch
going.
me. You will be a tyrant if you have to. That's what you just said on video? Is that what you just said?
I need your identification if you're going to stay here, sir.
I'm already outside.
Okay. They want you off the property.
This is public property, sir. You can't do
You are
it. Call your supervisor. I haven't been disorderly. I haven't broken the law. Why are you being a tyrant?
Why were you in the back?
I told you for business.
business?
Yes, I'm conducting business here.
Okay.
These
were,
videos.
Were you given
sir,
a number to come
sir,
back there?
these videos are being taxed. Okay.
Have a good day.
25%. You're a tyrant. You admitted to being a tyrant on video, sir. You're a shame to this country and to that badge. You need to quit your job and work somewhere else.
You have a good day.
You.
As we reach the end of this encounter, one thing becomes very clear. This situation wasn't just about filming, it was about the balance between authority and constitutional rights. The auditor maintained their position throughout, consistently asserting that they were on public property and not breaking any laws. Meanwhile, the officers maintained that their actions were based on perceived obstruction and operational concerns. What stands out most is the escalation in response to what appears to be a non-violent, non-disruptive activity.